Hey, this is Stacia, and I'm going to share my round 2 game from the Parma Chess Club Championship. In this game, I played against Rich Gideon, 1900. And so I was 1-0, and I was thirsty for another win, but hey, I got the black pieces against a strong player, so who knows? So he started with d4. Always a mystery what he will play. He plays different openings all the time. So I went d5, knight to f3, knight f6, and sure enough, c4. So I have seen this from him before. And I took the pawn because now we transpose into the queen's gambit. Accepted. He went knight to c3. I played the very important move a6. I intend to hold on to the pawn and be super annoying. So if he tries something like a3, bishop takes c4, it won't be possible because I'll be guarding the pawn. So he went e4. My pawn was pulled away to take the center, and I did play b5. Okay, so now's the first weird move of the game. I thought he played bishop to e2, which is dubious in my opinion, because it just sort of like gives up on this fight. Now, I can understand why he didn't go a4. This would be one of the normal moves that you do. But I could play b4. The knight could get, chased to a2 where it attacks the pawn. But I could play e6, guard the pawn. And he would get this one. But the knight's kind of weird. He has a center. I do recall the computer likes black a little bit here. But it's not that big of a deal. But a better way to do it, I thought, would be to start with e5 first. And this is pretty important because my knight pretty much has to jump to d5. It's the only square that makes any sense. So I would jump to d5, now a4. And this is different because now if b4, he could capture on d5. I could take, and then, okay, yes, I am defending this, but what about something like queen c2? And this looks pretty annoying. And I think that would have been the right way for white to do it. Or to not go e4 and just go e3. Because without, oh yeah, because in that other line, I forgot to mention the e4 pawn was hanging as well in that line. But okay, anyway. b5, bishop e2 was in the game. e6, and now castle. So yeah, I think pretty much I'm pretty happy that I got to keep my pawn. And now I just need to complete development. So bishop e7. I was worried about something here. This is a G90+30 game. So it gives me lots of time to worry about things, which I do. I actually wanted to play this move, and I started seeing some weird stuff after something like e5, knight takes, and queen takes. I saw this weird idea to play bishop f3. Like, for example, like if knight h4. I'm not even sure I should be scared of that. I don't think I should be. I think I thought knight g5 in the game. But if knight g5, we actually would have checkmate. So that's a problem. So, but knight h4 could be a thing. And if I was being lazy, actually bishop e7 does attack the knight. Okay, I'm starting to... Okay, but maybe this? Yeah, anyway, it was this idea I was worried about. So I had to make sure. Turns out that I really don't think I needed to worry about this, though, because I could always just capture with the bishop here. It's not like I have to take with the queen. I could put the bishop there. So anyway, bishop to e7 in the game. e5, knight d5. Yeah, and now I thought he might try a4 or something like that. But my opponent played knight to e4. This move makes some sense because in these structures where black gets the d5 square and white has like this pawn on e5 and there's no knight on f6, it got chased away. Like, this is an attacking structure. So really white should try to attack on the king side now. I mean, their bishops are aimed in this direction. The knights have major control of g5, and they should try to do something here. But it turns out it's not that easy to make an attack. I was scared during the game, I'll say that, but yeah, like it never really got like actually scary. So I went bishop e7, bishop g5 was played. I thought that was probably the best move. Because now if I take, I'm helping a knight come to g5, and then this could come here and attack f7, and I didn't really want to see any of that. And then the queen could, you know, come in as well. So I don't castle because I was kind of scared of things drifting over to my king. So I played knight d7. He did take. I took with the queen. And now he went knight to c3. And this is another weird move in the game because basically he thought a long time here. And I think he basically realized that none of the attack was not going to work is basically what he came up with. Like, I still think he should try something like this, but the issue, which I saw during the game, is that leaves this knight hanging. It's actually kind of vulnerable. It's like in line with the bishop, and I could play something like knight to f4 here. You know, I could do that. And then now I'm threatening this, followed by capturing. I'm also threatening to take the bishop with check. Now the engine says this move is good, which I didn't see because I would take it. But yeah, the queen comes in then. And okay, there really is sort of an attack here. This might be knight f6 ideas as well. I can't castle because I get mated. So this is nerve-wracking. Engine says black's better after h6. Or rook f8 or castle queenside. Yeah, and I might have castle queenside. I don't know. I might have. Even though my coach told me that's insane to do here. Whatever. It looks okay to me. All right, anyway. But in the actual game, he didn't find that continuation. And I understand why. It didn't look that great, and it looked like there were issues with it. But knight c3 clearly gives up. It's like, okay, I'm worse, and I'm letting you have your extra pawn and your queenside majority, and now I'm just going to fight you on this side of the board. So, all right, I was feeling pretty comfortable, and I knew what my plan should be. Complete development, play the moves I want to play, and then push my majority. So c5 I thought was a great way to start. Let's see if the engine agrees with this move. I thought it's the best move probably. No, it is not. Interesting. It just likes castle, and it likes capturing the knight. Followed by knight b6, which I don't really understand. c5, it doesn't hate it at all. Just doesn't like it quite as much as the other ones. It says he should go knight e4 now, which is funny. Because it just came from there. Okay, anyway, he captured, I took back, b3. So he's trying to break down my pawns a bit. I think taking this way is a mistake. You know, he could simply take back. Now he's threatening this one. My pawns are sort of getting dismantled. I don't really want that to happen. So I found a really nice idea here. If you want to pause your video and find the move, do so now. Okay, I checked with the engine. It is the best move, and it is pawn to c3. Yeah, this is just what the doctor ordered, because they cannot capture this, and if they attack it somehow, we have b4, you know, and if a3 trying to chip away, we just go a5, you know, and we're totally fine here. We've got this. Rook's open. I mean, this is great. This passed pawn definitely constitutes an advantage. And when I said push the majority, that's what we're going for, right? We want to make a passed pawn. So c3 was definitely the right move. Now he played d takes c5. I took with the queen here. Yeah, I honestly thought taking with the knight was not that good because of b4, and that would stop me from playing b4, and I can't protect my pawn. But in hindsight, I actually think why can't the knight just come to a4? We're entrenched here, and it guards the pawn. This also looks pretty good, but queen takes seems fine. I like queen takes. Rook c1, castles, and now rook e1. So I went b4. I'm just trying to be solid on the queen side, consolidate a little bit. Bishop c4 by him. I played knight b6. Now I will tell you, there's a cute idea here, and I saw flashes of it, and I must have thought it was like not going to work, but I think it does work. And that's to take, let the queen take the knight, and then save the bishop. So it actually doesn't lose material. And then the queen's locked in. And that could be a lot of fun because, like, let's say we just attack the queen. She goes a5. Like, I think we trap her. Let's find out. I wish I had done this during the game. Now, I'm not sure he would actually take the knight, though. It's a slow game, so he might not have done it. But then he would lose a pawn. Important pawn. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's white's turn, though. I'm going to see what the engine wants. No, it says black's winning here. Black is winning. Black has to play queen d6 right now, which is not what they want to play. That pawn is definitely weak because the d file is closed. We can just collect that. So that loses a pawn. So I thought, you know, what if they go something like, I don't know. I honestly don't know what they should do. I really don't. Let's just say rook here. I don't know. And then I go here. Okay. The queen has no good places to go. If she goes here, I'm pretty sure we have this move. Isn't she totally trapped? Oh, maybe not because of this. This might have been what I saw in the game. Even this, though, looks good for us. I'll see what the engine says. Yeah, it says black is -5. Wow. It must be because here we can already threaten this, you know? Does look pretty strong. So anyway, let's get back to the game though. All right. So in the game, I didn't decide to go for that. I went for knight b6. And I just thought, you know, let's keep it simple. Takes, I take with the knight. I like this file, this d file being closed. That to me felt like one of the only sources of counterplay for my opponent. But he went rook e4 and found some counterplay. Rook a8 and rook c4. So I missed this move. And I don't think it's like the most amazing move ever. And it doesn't even really cause problems. I honestly thought I could just go queen b6 if I want and just enjoy my position. Like, why not? Like, this is a great position. It's totally cool. But I was in the mood to calculate, I guess. And I found a really cool idea. And so I played it. Knight to e3. Like, why not? Okay, well, I'll tell you why not. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't just play queen b6 because, you know, you play queen b6, you're better. Like, there's no need to be fancy here and risk losing, risk missing something. But knight e3 is fairly simple to calculate. So I just calculated all the moves. And I liked all the positions. And my coach actually approved of it. He said the calculations weren't so tricky that I'm likely to miss anything. So he thought playing this way was totally fine. But I think it was unnecessary. Okay, so what if they take the knight? What if they take my queen? And what if they capture the rook here? And then lastly would be like, what if they just move the queen away, right? Because this is a discovery on the queen. What if they just move the queen somewhere safe, like e1? Then what? Okay. So the first one is, can they take the knight? The answer is absolutely not. We save our queen from danger with check, and now we're attacking their queen. So that's going to be losing. They cannot take the knight that way. But could they take our queen? I actually think they might be able to take the queen. So we could take their queen, obviously. This would be the first thing to look at. And after takes, I can take the rook too. This is the only line that I was a little bit concerned about because the rook is sort of active and it's behind our passed pawn. And it can sort of like attack things. So I wasn't too excited about that. But the engine says this is totally good for black as well. It says minus 1.7. Okay. And the other one would be, what if they, well, if they move the queen away, I was just going to take the rook. So that seems pretty good, right? So they pretty much have to do something. And this is the one he played in the game. Queen takes d8. Now, I thought my idea was to take the rook because that attacks my queen. So I was planning on taking it. And now we have to look at this and also the queen moving away. I did calculate both. I thought taking this is horrible. Like, why do that, right? Like, I get a pawn at the end. And I have a queen versus a rook and a knight, but I feel like their king is weak, and I've got this monster pawn here, and actually it's 3 versus 1, so like that should be winning. So he actually went queen g5. Now I didn't look at this exact move in my calculation, but I did think the queen could move away. So, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. I probably didn't mention that I blundered this game. Well, guess what? Here is the time I blundered. When you are playing rapid chess all the time and blitz, and then you switch to slow time control, this error creeps in, or at least it does for me. I've heard of other players doing this too, though. And some people call it long think, wrong think. But I was wondering if I could sack my knight here. And this was such an intriguing idea to me that I looked at my clock and it said I had like 50 minutes or something. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and look at this. Like, why not? So I was calculating, you know, giving this up for, you know, a bunch of pawns. And I thought this was a really intriguing idea. But the more I looked at it, the more I thought it was completely unnecessary and just silly. Like, I should just, you know, not do that. But then, you know, after thinking for like 10 minutes on that, I was like, oh, well, what else can I even play? I didn't even look at the other moves. And I started looking at like, oh, well, I'm going to move my knight, obviously, and then what? And then go queen d5, or what am I going to do? And I think I had looked at something like this and tried to get queen d5 and then double, and yeah. But then I made my move, queen d5. I forgot to move the knight. I forgot to move the knight. So yeah, that really was unfortunate. So he took the knight. So, well, I guess I wanted to sack the knight, so I got my wish. But so I got forced into it because I blundered. But I do think I have some compensation for this. So the game's not over by any means. If I ask the engine, actually, it says black's still a little bit better here. Believe it or not. Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Because I can take here, and I do have this 3 versus 1, and it's worth a piece. So that's pretty cool. So I was right about that, but it's totally unnecessary. It's way better to, you know, save your knight. Just put your knight anywhere sort of useful, like any of these squares. Okay, anyway, this happened in the game, and then he played queen h4. This is a challenging move because I realized here that my idea to take on a2 is met by queen takes b4. Now my pawns are split. It's not really clear if I have comp for a piece anymore. I'm probably losing, so I can't do that. And if I just back away, something like queen b5, then he could centralize his queen. I don't like the look of this either. I don't think this is gonna go well for me. So I don't want to do this either. If I ask the engine, it says black's a little better here. I'm kind of surprised. I should go, yep, rook c8 or a5, and we still have comp here. Okay. But I saw a different idea, which was to capture the queen. Now, usually you don't want to trade in when you're down material, but it's all about, you know, my pawns and getting my rook active. Because what I thought is I get his knight away. I can go rook d8, and now maybe I can sneak in. Like I'm about to come in the position. So here he played knight to f3, and I was like, wow, I guess I'm not getting in the position. And then I realized there's a move here. And I just got lucky that it was here, in all honesty. But if you want to pause your video and find the winning move, go ahead and do so now. Well, I hope you found it. It's pawn to c2. Oh, it won't let me annotate right now. Hang on a second. I got to put it on. This wins the game. I mean, it probably only should get 1 exclam. But, man, this just, not only does this save the position, but it wins the game. It wins the game. You cannot take it because of, you know, checkmate, of course. But what's worse is that I'm threatening rook d1, and that is also winning. So, like, it's really hard to do anything for white. Like, I don't know what they should do. Like, let's say they just go, I don't know. I don't know what they should do. Let's say they go rook f1. Okay, I still go rook d1. Just rook d1. If you take it, I queen. But if you don't take it, I'm going to promote next move. So that just wins. Same with this one. This time it's with check, though. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what they should do. He went king f1 in the game. For a second, I thought there might be knight to e1, and I was like, oh, no, there's knight e1. But rook d1 anyway. It pins the knight, so it cannot take the pawn. And it attacks the rook again. And I'm going to take the knight with check. So if they take with the pawn, I take that with check. They can't take with the knight because it's pinned. I mean, it's just crazy, but everything works out. It's just so lucky that I had this move. So he went king f1, which makes the most sense. Rook d1 and king e2. So, of course, I take the rook. King d2 attacks my rook. So I went here to attack a pawn. He captured. Check. Here. Takes. It's a rook versus a knight. And I also have 2 versus 1 still. And I also am going to have a bunch of pawns here as well. It definitely should be winning. And he resigned here because if he takes this, then I could take here. Now I can push this pawn. And if he goes here, oops. I thought if he goes here, now I take with check. And it's the same thing. So it all looks pretty good. And if the knight moves away, I could take that as well. I'm going to have way too many pawns on this side also. So it was, yeah, it was in this position that my opponent resigned. And I was 2-0 in the tournament. So yay for that. Pretty crazy game. I wasn't happy about the blunder, but sometimes things have a way of working out, and I just got lucky. There was that c2 thing in the end. So I guess technically my opponent just missed that, but it was kind of easy to miss. And it's worse than that, actually, because of that c2 thing, it means he can't go knight f3. So if he can't go knight f3, then I guess you go king f1. But if you go king f1, I get to activate my rook. And this is still a game. You know, I do have these pawns. They're extremely dangerous, and my rook's super active. Their knight's on the edge of the board. This rook is very passive. This is still a game, and if I ask the engine, it says 0-0. Believe it or not, equal. So this would end up being a draw with perfect play, which is kind of what I would think. That they would have to sack the knight for 2 pawns or something. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed the game, and I'll be back with more chess. Bye.